Tribe community stands for, why the Energy Tribe is essential at this point, and then we'll have the conversation, which I know a lot of people have been very very happy about, and Agbenu is already here too, so I can't even wait to like delve deep into that one, and then we'll like close. So yeah, my name is Kaito. Everybody calls me Kaito Chukwudi, like everybody calls me Kaito, so please call me Kaito. I currently work with the African Development Bank, but aside that, one of the team members building the Energy Tribe. So this is super important to me and also very personal to me. I think when we have the conversation, when I have the conversation with Agbenu, you'll see why I think it's very essential that the Energy Tribe coming together now is like, very vital to where we are at this point and where the energy space is currently at this point. And so basically the Energy Tribe is just like a community of like-minded people that are deeply interested in the energy sector. And beyond being interested, I think one thing the Energy Tribe is also trying to promote is the fact that we can go from being interested to actively implementing. And so we are not just carrying that interest in our hearts, we are actively working, actively doing things that are going to launch that interest that we have into a pathway. And so essentially, if you know that you love the energy space, you know that even if you're doing like a career path that you think do not necessarily connect, trust me, one way or the other, it connects. If you're doing anything around communications, you can decide to be, and specialize in the energy space, communicate everything around energy. If you're into, finance, if you're into economics, you can also, deep dive into the energy space. And so it's not just for core, engineering or science related people, but also people that are just generally very interested in the energy space. So I'm really excited to see what we do. I think the next thing I'll point towards is, why is the Energy Tribe here? Why is it important? Why is it necessary at this time, at this place, at this moment, And so the first thing I would note is that the energy sector is like, going through what I call like an evolution. Different things are coming up at different times. We are constantly seeing people and organizations or industries even naturally shift towards like the energy space, even in terms of beyond even the oil and gas. So we are seeing finance coming up. You see people that are probably doing, finance work within the energy space, people that are probably doing pipeline management even within the energy space, people into operations or people into what do you call it, like infrastructure development. And you can see that some of these things are focused in the energy space. I was recently working on a project, very interesting project around critical minerals in the energy industry. And so I think one very interesting thing I saw from that is that the African space is now looking to use critical minerals as a form of currency exchange for some of the energy projects that we are, currently undergoing. And so it is just interesting to see how this space is currently evolving. Different new things are coming up, different interesting things are coming up. And so it'll be somehow, if we are somehow behind. And so I think that's why the energy tribe is very, very important, so we can really plug in and grow with others and see how then we can plug into the whole evolution that is going on in the energy industry. I think another thing that's also very important to note is the energy tribe is going beyond theoretical knowledge. So we are not just looking into the theoretical part of things, which is very important. I mean, I think each of us consume a lot of knowledge these days, especially within the energy space. We read a lot of articles or a lot of books, or we do a lot of things around like the energy space. But then how then do we translate some of these things that we do, or some of these things that we know, not even do, some of these things we know, into things that we can actively do? So how then do we build like technical depths in this industry? How then do we translate some of this knowledge that we know into, hardcore tech technology or hardcore like or tangible products, and so you'll find out that there are a lot of people doing very, very interesting things or building very, very interesting things within the energy space. It could be software, it could be, tangible products, it could also be frameworks, any different things. And so you see that this is an opportunity for you to learn more about what other people are doing. Aside from learning more, it's also an opportunity to kind of be in that room or in that space where these kind of conversations are being had, how to then translate some of these thought process that you have had into like actionable points and all of that. And so I think that's also another reason why the energy tribe is very important at this time. And then one last point I would mention, obviously, is like the community of like-minded people. Like you can't go wrong with having a community of people that think alike, think together, that are ready to like build together with you. And I think that's one thing that is not so common within the energy space. You find people doing different things, and there is no, would I say, there's no connecting dots, or there is no connecting bridge that brings all of these ideas, all of these people into one space. And so building this space where people can, freely express themselves, really talk about what they do, really, do handle projects, find partners that could, build with you as well. And I think that's also one very important thing that we one particular reason that we are trying to set up like the energy tribe. And so if you think that you do very well within this space, if you think that this is like a space that you need, if you think that this is something that is very essential in your journey, like going forward, that is very relevant to where you are now, and also be relevant to the journey or the place you're trying to build, I would just say that you should make sure that you're plugged in. I feel like I've used this word a lot, but yeah, make sure that you're plugged in, make sure that you are, very very involved. We're going to do a whole lot of projects. We're going to do a whole lot of things. Like we have like some plans already, and so it will be a disservice to you if you're not actively involved, because obviously that those that are actively involved that get the most out of some of these opportunities. And so just know that we have a lot in store, and so we'll be actively available to help, to guide, to build and all of that. Um, and then, okay, so now we'll just be having, I think now it's time for the conversation with Agbenu. Yeah, Agbenu is, I don't know, most of you should know Agbenu. If you don't know Agbenu, I think you should just go and check her out on her like socials, and all of that. But she's someone that we all know and we all like respect within the energy space. She has built like a career within the energy industry. She has, stood the test of times within the industry.
Oh my
And
goodness, I don't. Are we talking about same person?
Stop this. Okay, allow me land. but yeah, like she's someone that you should get to know. So I think I'll just stop sharing my slide now so that we can have like this conversation and so that you can hear from her. So you think that all these things I'm saying is a lie, but I'm sure when you hear from her, you know that it's not a lie at all. So
Oh
this is
well,
like
oh well. Coincidentally, I think we're wearing similar colors.
yeah, plan is oh my god, like I feel so good. Really
All
my
right, I
plan.
mean, I just woken up and like, oh, I'm going to do like a maroon, or I don't know what color this is, burgundy overlay on black. And I think I was in the spirit, or I am in the spirit. Hi everyone.
You
Hi
are.
Kaito.
I mean, I just picked up this once and I was like, this looks good for the occasion. I didn't know that, God was aligning us.
It shows my hair is going to be great. Yay.
Yes, yes. I'm so happy
Oh
to
boy.
have you. I'm so happy to, have you on this call. I'm so happy to, also hear from you because I know that I'm going to also let my book and my pen, everything is here for me to write, points, deep points that you're going to be spitting out.
Book. I think all of us are. I always just have a book beside me, and this is a regular jotter, right? So that take notes so that I can take things away.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, the floor is yours. Introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what you're interested in, anything that wow us and keep us, glued.
All right, hi everyone. My name, like Kaito already mentioned, is Agbenu Obande. I went to the University of Ibadan where I studied petroleum engineering. Like every normal person, the reason why I picked petroleum engineering was because one of my uncles, God bless his soul, came to my house and said, "Oh, Agbenu, you really scored high in JAM. I don't think you should do civil engineering. Do petroleum engineering instead." And at the time, I grew up in northern Nigeria, right? So at the time, petroleum engineering wasn't a big deal. Even though I had my dad who worked in a refinery, retired now, by the way. He worked in KRPC, that's Ghana Refinery. But at the time, I never heard of petroleum engineering in my life. I always wanted to do civil engineering because I was interested in structures, in high-rise buildings particularly, and road construction. And I felt like, oh, that's what I wanted to do outside of the medical medicine my mom wanted me to study. Right. So I'm like, oh, okay. He said, oh, that there is money there, oh, that's oil and gas. I'm like, which I just calculated in my head what my future is going to look like. And that is how I settled for petroleum engineering. Still one of the best decisions I ever made, by the way. I feel like if I had studied civil engineering, no offense to anybody who's a civil engineer on this call, I feel like I would be depressed, right? Because I am in love with oil and gas. I'm in love with anything energy related, and that's why I'm here. Post graduation, I so before I graduated, I already started working with an EMP company in the US. For my internship time up until graduation. So EMP, for those who are not familiar with the lingua, is exploration and production. So I was working for an EMP company in the US, Proline Energy Resources at the time. That's from like 300 level, ending of 300 level. That's so let's say start of 400 level till the end of final year, about 2 years. Beautiful experience. Still very grateful to them. After graduation, I moved into a business development role. So I've always been very intrigued by project management. And for those who know me or who have been around me, you know that, oh, I'm also great with people. So I wanted a role that, would help me grow technically and also, be able to harness my people management skills and also throw me neck deep into project management. And that's how I got this role. I currently work as business development coordinator at Vaughn Energy Services. What else am I missing out on? So essentially, like my mates, unlike my mates in school, for me, school was normal, right? I just wanted to volunteer actively within SP and also get to that. I feel like when we go on with this conversation, you get to know so much more. But in a
Yeah.
nutshell, I think I've been motivated by family, motivated by mentors, and I'm a very optimistic person. I see life in a very, oh, we can do it. Right. So even if I feel discouraged sometimes, I go back to the drawing board. I'm like, yeah, we can do it. And then what do I enjoy? I enjoy talking. I talk for fun. Talking makes me happy. Talking keeps me alive. And I love spending time with friends. Yeah. So I think
Yeah.
that covers who I am in a nutshell. I feel like I've not said so much more.
No, it's fine. It's really fine. I think I wanted to even ask about like, what was your aha moment? But seeing what you had already like mentioned, it has always been a dream, or maybe right from the time you entered, like right from the time you entered into university, you found like a place within the energy space. And so it has always been love from the 100 level, not love from first sight, or maybe love from 100 level, or am I right? Or am I wrong?
So I think in 100 level, I saw Shiggy. I saw premium Shiggy, right? So in 100 level, I don't know how other schools are. But UI, just like any other university, in 100 level, you do science courses, 200 level, you do tech courses, and then before you get into the department, I think 200 level second semester. Now, me, from the start, um, I don't, what's the word? I didn't know that the university was a very serious place. I just wanted to do all of that stuff. But I got in and I got my first blow. So 100 level, I thought it was going to be like secondary school. I didn't have to read. And so there was certain energy in my head. I just know oil and gas, but I didn't know what petroleum engineering was going to be anything. So the love did not start from there, to be honest. My 100 level was terrible. It was bad. It was bad. It was bad. But thankfully, we got involved in SPE,
Oh, true.
Shamaka and myself got involved with SP, and that was where the love started. My 100 level was terrible, like I already mentioned, but we got involved with SP, so we began to hear set of petroleum engineers, what petroleum engineering is, from the industry events we're having industry men and women come to school, and the women I was seeing were not tomboyish at all. They were wearing
Mm.
expensive hair, expensive makeup, and I was just having a great time, and that for me sparked my interest. And then from that point, I began to plot what my future would look like, looking at the men and women I was seeing. And SP helped me see, okay, what skills I needed to put in place, what I needed to do. There was a lot of talk around networking. I didn't know about LinkedIn before uni. So SP introduced me to LinkedIn, professional CVs, and how to speak with people. That was just like the starting point for me. All right. I would say God bless SP, because if not for SP, I'll most likely be doing business, because I do love business as well. But yeah, I would say my interest was largely sparked by Society of Petroleum Engineers, University of Ibadan. And then that for me was the start of wanting to plot a career plan in the energy industry. Yeah, I'm staying away of university.
Yeah, I think it's very similar. I think it's very similar for me too because like getting into chemical engineering, I was just like, it's just to, chat formulas and see what these people are doing here. I'll probably graduate and like make tons of money and build my mansion somewhere in Lagos. But yeah, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, like you said, we found SP. SP was that major foundation for me. Like I became like extremely exposed. Like I was seeing incredible things, and I'm like, oh, I could do this, or oh, I could function in this capacity, or oh, I could actually,
Yeah.
do much more than I'm seeing myself doing at this point. And so I was like, I think that started it, that sparked it up. And then also getting involved with like other international organizations, handling some other projects, and now they're getting into like the nitty gritties of like what
Seeing what life looks
energy
like within
in
this
that place
space.
for me and all of that. So I guess like at least in that capacity, like we share, in mutual connection. But yeah. But now that you are
Yeah.
now
So, how did you pick your course of study though? Like, what
let
was
me
what was the
go
motivation?
there. It was this story. It was medicine first, like every normal person. We all wanted to,
Just because everybody's parents wanted them to study medicine. I don't know why.
we wanted to change people's life. So I don't even know why I was,
People's
but
life. You need energy.
exactly. And so it was medicine at first, and then I did the whole job and stuff, and then I want to say they gave me, but I know that kind of joke when they say they gave you, but yeah, like I ended up
Crazy.
with veterinary medicine, and I was like, oh, there was something I was going to do 6 years in university studying
No
drugs
offense.
and no offense to those that do that,
I
but yeah,
mean, no shades to anybody on the call. He's a veterinary doctor, but
I was like, there was
yeah.
no way. So my mom also like, that kind of thing, like she was like, oh, why not consider the next best thing to medicine? It was like engineering was like the next best thing to medicine. But the funniest thing is that I did like pre-science. So I still put medicine with pre-science, hoping that one might, two-factor authentication. And then God was saving me. I was
Ah,
like, yeah, you need to come out of this. Oh my
oh my
God.
goodness. Like, when I think in hindsight now, there are courses that if I had taken, it's not like I wouldn't do well in, but clearly I feel like, oh, as teenagers, we just really never knew what we wanted,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
bless God, who helped us with intentional parents, and from those really light conversations and like realign our steps. But
Yeah, yeah.
I see my friends who are medical doctors, like I would never survive.
I think that, I mean, like in broader sense, like government policies, there should be a way around that where people don't, you don't have to choose like immediately. When you like have a taste of everything, and then
I would say that to solve that problem, I feel like for students in school, our minds are somewhat limited. So I would say maybe having more career fairs for people in senior secondary schools in Nigeria and maybe Africa would help with, choosing, because most schools have career or guidance counselors, but how many students really do meet them? Say for instance, we go to secondary schools, like what SPE does with Energy for Me. Say we go into secondary schools and we're able to tell them about what we do, so they'll be hearing this thing for the first time, and that will spark curiosity, right? Which is like what we you intend to do with the energy tribe. So imagine it having more people and more young professionals being able to talk about what they do. I feel like if we had like doctors, nurses come, maybe have a panel session in school, in secondary schools now, um I think students would be interested beyond social activity, because it gives an insight. If I can see what my future will look like by looking at you, it would help me better plot. And even from there, okay, maybe not exactly have a mentorship system, but I think that would be a great way to curb the. Imagine both of us, if we had ended in medicine, we'll do well.
yeah,
We'll do well. But it almost feels like the options are limited in secondary schools. Either you're doing medicine or you're doing engineering. When even in the energy industry, some people don't know that you can study accounting and still do finance, study economics and energy economics or petroleum economics. A lot of young people in secondary schools don't know this.
yeah, I mean, that's very true. I think I would take this back now to like your role as like a business development coordinator, and how has that been for you coming from like core petroleum engineering and now function in a different capacity, but still within the same sector, still like actively supporting the energy sector and still like actively building within the sector. What's like your day to day like, for people that, are possibly interested in that kind of.
So business development is interesting. When I was finishing school, I did petroleum engineering, like earlier mentioned. My project was on cementing. For people that don't know, oil and gas wells, when you are drilling or completing, you'd have to pump in cement. So my project was around cementing. So somewhere in my head, I felt like, oh, I was going to finish school and get into a company that does cementing. Now that I think about it, I smelled what oil and like drilling cement, the cement we use in drilling or completing was when I perceived it on the field in 2024. I am thankful to the Lord that I never did cementing. That thing smells horrible. Jesus. Bruh, no, smells horrible. But yeah, I thought I was going to do cementing. I was very interested in my project. So my project topic was on performance evaluation of a particular tree's sawdust as a cement retarder. But I got this opportunity straight out of school to do business development. And in my head, I'm like,
Mm,
what am I supposed to do? Like I mentioned when we started talking, I said my role allows me to marry my technical expertise or technical background with people management and project management. So as business development coordinator, you get to do client engagement, you get to handle bids or tenders. So bids or tenders are like, I like to explain to people like there are five. So say you own a house or a land or a property, right? And then you determine on that land that you want to, erect your foundation or erect your building, or you need plumbing services or electrical services. You I can ask you, Kaito, oh please, I need a plumber. You'd be like, oh, I have two plumbers. I could send you their contact. Now I would make a decision on who would work on my property after I hear their pricing or hear, okay, that first guy, really do work for me, but I will still send you number sha. Now that's questionable character, right? So I would want to, do like a due diligence check on both plumbers you are sending my way and eventually be able to pick one to run the service. So as business development, I'm supposed to position my company best way possible. Um, with what we have. I know our technical expertise. I know what services we can cater for. Ensure that on the local context side of things, we are properly registered with the NCDMB, NUPRC, have all the required permits to operate in you know Nigeria's oil and gas sector or Nigeria's energy industry now, being able to render services, not services we offer, and be able to engage with our clients, right? And then to be able to understand the services we offer, I've been on the field at least for over the last 1 year. So I'm going to clock 2 years in June. But last 1 year, I've been actively on the field, so interacting with these tools or services we handle. And this is possible because I have a technical background in engineering. And so a typical year or a typical week for me is planning jobs. I get to plan jobs with, the engineers. So some days I am different things to different people. On some days I'm business development coordinator. Other days I am a field engineer. On other days I am a gyro engineer because I'm also trained. Thankfully, my organization is such. I'm trained. I've been trained to run the gyro tool as well. So yeah, so being able to speak technically. So if I go into a technical meeting, for instance, so we have DWORKS, which is really well on paper, logging well on paper, completions well on paper, which are meetings to plan for jobs. I can talk with these technical people because I understand it, right? And then when it comes to talking numbers or working with my own team, with the team at the office to talk about how much the job is going to be, what the client is, who the client is, we're able to effectively talk about that as well. I would say that is essentially what I do. And most times, for instance, I traveled one time and I had people on the field and I had to manage, call, so what are we doing now? What depth are you on now? Okay, what are we doing now? What does the client need? The previous week that just passed, worked on tenders, so working with the different teams, HSC, finance, operations. Okay, we need this document from you. We need this document from you. Or financials. We need HSC policies. We need all that stuff come together to do packets. And then for those who know about NIPEX, which is like the Facebook market of oil and gas industry, where you go to check for available jobs. I also like monitor our NIPEX platforms. Be able to see what jobs we can apply for, what the deadlines are. Basically, just working with everybody to deliver on that. I think this is a very interesting summary of what I do.
I mean, really interesting. I think one thing that came to mind when we were talking is how different our day-to-day life is. Like, it's so different. Like, I
Both
suppose,
life and like
wow, wow.
capital.
To be honest, a lot of board meetings, a lot of board meetings, a lot of stakeholder meetings, a lot of policy writing. So essentially, or currently, the main focus of my department is on Mission 300. That's essentially electrifying 300 million Africans. And so right now, each 54 African countries have been asked to produce what they call a national energy compact. And so that has like a detailed step by step how they want to improve the energy situation or the electricity situation within their countries, the projects that they can to carry out, the how much they need in from public sector, from private sector. So it has like that total plan, and then they have submitted it to us, and now we have it. And so the next step now is that we have created what we call like a CDMU. CDMU is for monitoring, compact monitoring units, where now we're now actively working with this each of these countries to now take these compacts from like paper to now implementation. And so now currently we're working on what they call the ASAP. So the ASAP is a technical assistance kind of thing where these governments have now they have brought this compact and they have said, oh, we want to start this project. And so how
Yeah.
much funds? can AFDB help with? AFDB has a part of AFDB is a funding part of AFDB is called SEFA, so that's Sustainable Funds, Energy, whatever. And so we from SEFA draft money to give them, but we also have to make sure that any project they are doing is in line with like policy reforms. So I think that's what development
Yeah.
banks do. They are making even as they're giving you money, they're also ensuring that
That your project is compliant with what
it's
like actual sustainable.
exactly. There's also going to be like policy reforms. So if we are giving you this money, hope there are like policies currently in your country that support the sustainability of this project. So we are not just giving the money to build the project, we are giving the money to for the project to last as long as possible. And so we always have, meetings with, because it is also partnering with like World Bank, C4O, GF on this project. So there's always a lot of meetings, always a lot of site visits to some of the countries to actually see what they are
That's
building.
really, really interesting. Though. So yeah, really like getting in face to face with like policies,
Yeah,
and all of that. Not just the host country of the bank, but from other
yeah.
countries around Africa.
Exactly. So because we are like frontline of support, we have to like look through like their policies. We have to ensure that the money that is also being that is also being provided is very risk adequate. So AFDB, part of the funding that AFDB gives is also to the risk capital, so that when they're trying to invest in that particular project, AFDB has already provided a cushion. And so if the project fails, the investors are sure that they are going to get a part of their money back. So it's a very, very, very interesting, technical,
So if I get it correctly, we are working not just so unlike some of us who do engineering and get our hands really dirty, you're more on like the policy and finance side of things. So essentially doing like energy economics and also like getting nitty-gritty into like looking what at policy frameworks look like. That's
Yeah,
that's really interesting.
yeah. It is interesting, but sometimes it can also be a whole lot of hassle because dealing with governments. Hey, African governments. Let me know if we're on camera, but yeah. So it's very interesting dealing with government, and also dealing with, like, recently we had a project that we had already planned. It was already 2 weeks to the kickoff, and this just turned around and we're like, oh no, we have decided amongst ourselves that we are no more going. I'm like, we have already spent money. But yeah, so it's very interesting working with some of these governments.
It's
Very interesting.
crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then by the time you look at it, I feel like being there now helps you see that, oh, it's not just a Nigerian problem, right? That if the energy industry in Africa is going to be better, it's really, which is one of the conversations I was having with a group of people I saw today, that the problem we have is very ingrained in our culture. And so even if you're able to change the group of people, like say a group of people in power, it's more about the people that are even in the grassroots. It's more of a mind shift that I really don't know which scale. I don't know how we intend to do that because like it's very like what you are doing is very sensitive because these energy policies are what now cascade into other projects that are now like execution of the policies that have been put in
Yeah.
place. Right. So if the leaders there cannot put in the right policies or ensure that everyone's compliant with the policies, then we're in problem. And then if you have a bank such as African Development Bank that's willing to invest in sustainable projects, because it's not that, oh, I have an idea, or how does this idea benefit us? Because everybody is in it for their self-interest. Right. If there is that fund and government cannot, what's the word? Cannot take advantage of it based off selfish interest or people wanting because this can be a thing where, oh, there's a brilliant idea but the government wants to siphon money for themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really painful because I'm like, when then would we break free from these things that because even some young people that are into politics have same mindset, unfortunately.
True. True. We should go and buy for some positions. What do you think? it wouldn't be bad,
Ah,
you know.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. Say for instance, you are working, around, economics, policies and all that stuff. By the time you are able to, probably become a manager of an E&P company or the CEO of an E&P company, it won't be bad to have you as the CEO MD of maybe, let's be wishful, say Exxon, Renaissance, name it. We
Yeah,
will be
well,
there, right? But like you have a more grounded view. Yeah, so let's all become active, right? So like you have a
yeah.
more grounded view. You're not coming into this place knowing, your policy, understanding for policy frameworks, not just of
Mm,
Nigeria or of Ivory Coast, but of other African countries, and you're now
mm,
able to like make informed choices within the organization. Okay, say for instance, that's the one too far. Say which other place. There are just a lot of associations that your skill sets become useful in, but in the meantime, I think as young people, what we can do is, which is what I was discussing earlier today, is you can start with you, right?
mm,
Choosing that, oh, I'm going to be better, I'm going to do better. And so if I'm going to do core engineering, I'm going to be good at it. If I'm going to work as an energy economist, I'm going to be good at it. If I'm whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to contribute my quota and ensure that I do it right. And then
mm,
be able to influence my circle. Say, for instance, you take on 5 young people, you are mentoring them at different points of their careers. I take on 5 people, I do that. David takes on 5, Promise takes on 5, you know. We take on different people and then you're able to teach them. Eventually, I feel like when they get to those top places, they would have seen you live out your life in integrity, the way you think you want your government to live, and they're able to. So being able to replicate ourselves in the younger generation, right? And letting them know, okay, there's a way to do things right, right?
mm,
And then the one decision you make or the one thing you do would affect, so it has a ripple effect.
yeah, yeah.
So I think that's what we do.
Yeah, that's very right. I think when we were talking, I think one thing that came to mind was like, I don't know if you guys watched the Ibuka Washika session, like, and it was amazing when she talked about like her career, talked about like her growth and
Mm.
everything around that. Yeah. I think one thing I would want to ask also is I'm sure that there are times when you have failed or where you felt like we did not do enough within like this space. What are those times have you been able to like navigate it? What do you think about, those times? How did you come out victorious or did you actually come out victorious? Something like that.
Okay, so I would say school. I remember saying when I started really poorly in 100 level, struggled. It was a lot of struggle. But once I realized that, it wasn't going to work. So for context, I knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted to play in this space. But for one reason or another, it was really hard, meeting up with that mark for me, right? So getting into school, being the top in secondary school, and then coming into uni where I am feeling woefully. I was near depressed, or if not even depressed. Eventually, of course, I think one thing about me is if I'm going through the meanest things, I would speak up. I would speak with friends. I would let you know exactly how I'm feeling. So I would say in difficult seasons, you should have support system. Now, reason being in this oil and gas industry, I like to say into let's say energy industry with a broader sense of it. It's not so big, and so it would really help to have support systems. And of course, like for everybody's career, you would scale high. The goal is to scale high. But in a case where it feels like growth is stagnated, it will take your community to hold you up, right? So who can you talk to? What mentors can you reach out to? And so even now in my current space, when it feels like okay, you feel like you are in somewhere for too long, it happens. Doesn't even mean like you don't enjoy your job, but it just means oh you are yearning for growth.
Mm,
right? When those seasons come, I just call my mentors. I speak with my peers, right? I love it when my friends are doing well, so it means I can latch on you. So if I'm having a difficult season, I'm like, oh, God has done it for Kaito Chuku. God has done it for David. God has done it for, Amaka. God will do it for me. I'm a Christian, so I hold on to my faith, right? And then, so it's not from a place of envy. I'm like, oh, if God can do it for these people, He can do it for me. And beyond faith, I'm like, okay, so I look at mirrors. I think mentorship is not just people who, can directly reach out to, say, for instance, mention Ibuka Oshika. I draw strength from stories of people like that. And then within the energy industry, I look at women that are doing what I want to do. Like, okay, Elozino, for instance, the MD of Midwest, she moved from Shell, GM from Shell, and then she moved to Midwestern, right? I'm like, oh, she's able to do it. I go down and look at her trajectory. That's Elozino. She's an MD. Then I look at younger women within, my sphere of influence. I have friends in Renaissance, friends in Total, friends in. I make friends with big people because I don't want to think small. So in difficult seasons, I'm like, I look up to these people I call friends. I'm like, oh, if this person can get into a zone, I can do it. If this person can get into total, I can do it. Right. And then just basically just have mirror of possibilities for myself. And I'm like, so when you see, okay, this person did X, Y, Z where they are doing, you're able to, do that. And like I said, when I call my mentors, I'm like, honest, okay, this is what I'm going through, sir. This is what I'm going through, ma. What do I do? Like, oh, I'm going to do this, 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 this. It helps. It helps. Even if it's financial need, I'm able to talk to people, my friends, my community, and they're able to pull me up. I remember something happened to me at the end of last year. I was really, really almost depressed. I don't like saying that I was depressed. I was on this floor in my room, just put something on the floor. I was lying on the floor 2 weeks back to back. I was just a couch potato, go to work, come back. But in that season, I had my friends. They would call, make jest of me, but they would pray for me. And tell me, this is not you. Pick up. So in difficult times, in difficult seasons, at different phases of my life, one thing that's kept me grounded is my faith in God, that, oh, God is able to keep me. And then my community, my peers, my friends, and then mentors, industry mentors who have walked same path and understand my struggles. So yeah, that's how I've been able to do it also. How have you been able to go through different? I know you had to move twice, different
Ah,
countries.
I can't even speak. It has been a whole lot, to be honest. Like I thought, like, I thought moving countries and, like, moving industries, or even was like, it feels good on paper and very, very sweet when you say it out. But
Mhm.
back then, it's crazy. It's crazy. Moving countries, it feels like starting again. It feels like starting, like, now that I'm within AFDB, I think this is one of, like, my hardest times so far, because now I'm learning from scratch. It's like I'm a baby. Like, I don't know anything in this
Yeah,
place.
outside of what you're used
It's
to.
like, exactly. So it's very different. And so I'm learning from scratch. And I think one thing that has also helped, like you mentioned, is people. Like, in this AFDB, I'm not afraid to, every day I'm typing on my Teams. Hello, ma, are you available for a coffee chat? I know. You know,
Very important.
oh,
Honestly,
very,
I feel like we're
very,
not
very,
harnessing that enough.
very important. And I will say to anybody that is, like, any people that are listening, make sure that you don't be afraid to ask. Like, don't be afraid to reach out to people. Ask for 30 minutes of your time. Ask for it will help your life. It will take you, further than you think. But yeah. So I think one thing I've been able to do is, like, reach out to people a lot. So coming here, especially with language barrier, with, way of life here, with also the bank system and all of that. And I think also because my direct bosses, they are very good. Like, I love them so much, but they are also male. And so
Mhm.
sometimes it may not be as easy to speak with them as, as a female and all of that. And so I found myself also reaching out to other females within the bank that are, very open to talk. People that I have seen from afar, that they seem like, very reasonable, responsible women that would be very willing to help, also be very willing to share their experiences, how they were able to navigate
Yeah.
complexity of the bank. I would say reach out to people, reach out as much as you can, talk to people,
And a closed
brush.
mouth is a closed destiny as well.
Very true, very true. Talk to people, talk to people as much as you can. Don't be wallowing in self pity, self whatever. Don't do that. Like stand up and get going. So yeah, but it has not been easy. But thankfully, like God has been faithful. Have been good. At least now I can speak small French. Uncle. If you want, you can go further. But I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to, delve too deep into that. So you will not be laughing so much. But
But yeah,
yeah.
I think as young professionals, once I be MSc, vous?
Again, you said.
But I think one thing that stands out is as young professionals, we're always scared to not want to look bad or want to make mistakes. But I
Mm-hmm.
think at your start of your career, of course, you have to be learning, right? That's why there are skills that we should put in place. I feel like in school, most of us focus too much on building technical expertise. So learning machine learning, those things are nice, data analysis, knowing the coursework. But beyond that, how is your human interaction? Can you walk into your boss's office and have a conversation? Can you start a conversation? I mean, say for instance, when we started talking, the base of our conversation was like, oh, we're wearing matching colors. It could be, oh, I really like your outfit, right? And then like try to know people outside of work. Now, I do this as a hack because it helps me build. So it registers in your mind such that by the time I come in, so I'm saying in the workplace now, so by the time I come in with a technical question as regards the work to do, we already have like an icebreaker. We've already brought the tension down and we're able to communicate. I think that is one hack I think every young professional should have, being able to confidently even when
Yeah.
it's difficult.
True.
And don't be afraid to
True. True. I think.
ask for help because when people look at your age, look at where you are, they know that you need. Yeah, you wanted to say something, Kaito?
Yeah, I just wanted to point to Deepak made a post on LinkedIn about the different stages of career challenges or career difficulties, and I really found that really interesting. I think people should check it out and all of that. But yeah, that was just buttressing on what we have been talking about as regards challenges and all within the industry and within our career journey. So that will not take much time. I think one thing I want to ask is if you could leave two or three practical tips for people here, on how to, what's the word, how to navigate their journey entirely, how to position themselves, just two, three things that you think that are very essential for people here to know or to take away. What would that be?
Hmm. Find someone to model your life after. I know that we have unique journeys, right? But in school, okay, first things first, I think I mentioned it already in passing. Mentorship doesn't always have to be vertical. There's always also horizontal. When I say horizontal, I mean people within your age brackets. Most times when we think mentors, we're thinking people, far gone in their careers. But for me, I am always very grateful to Pelumi Oluwatayo, who started me off in SPE, and then eventually I just realized, oh, I need to look at his successes and model myself after. So it was PRO, became this, became that. Me, I became PRO, I did vice president, I became president, right? And then I saw how he got his first job. I'm like, oh, how did you get your first job? I asked the question. I said, I've been in network. I said, correct. I took it back. And I'm like, that's great. I went, I improved my network. So I'll go with him, I'll go out with him to events and then I see how he relates. Oh, hi, my name is like, bro, why are you so confident? Well, both students, why are you so confident? Right? And I was able to do that. And then, like I said, that is my peers, where he was 2 years my senior in school, but he helped. And then,
Mm.
from women, men, oh, who is in the industry that is doing what you want to do? We all have unique journeys. But let's also bear in mind that someone has walked that path, you now see, oh, I look at Ebuka Awosika. I'm like, okay, this woman is a woman who is loud about her faith, loud about what she does, and is clearly a leader that nobody can dispute. I'm like, okay, so
Mm,
go and follow what does she do, listen to her videos, watch her videos. Then I would also say learn the skills and then move with the trend. Of course, everybody would have a unique thing they do, but what is currently happening in the energy space? What is the new thing? Remember, I think after COVID, everybody was talking big data, right? And then we went
mm,
to cleaner energies, and then now we're talking about the decade of gas in Nigeria, right? So follow the trends, know what is happening, know how you can put yourself into it, and then not everybody study petroleum engineering. What do you want to do? I think I've said a lot, but these are like guide questions that would help you get on track. And when you begin to do these things, you now know how to now. Because if you walk up to a CEO of a company, for instance, you wouldn't be beating around people's shoes. You don't know exactly what you want to do. Of course, we are young people, we don't have it figured out, but at least we can have a faint imagination or faint idea of what we
yeah,
want to do
yeah.
long term.
Yeah, I
So
think I think building
that's
on
what I
that
think.
thing, what you mentioned about like studying people, like following people. I think one thing I tell people, like I don't just also go on LinkedIn to post a lot, even if I post. But yeah, I also go on LinkedIn to like study people's like trajectory, like people's, pattern, how they have moved within industries or how they have moved within spaces or, what are those core skills that they developed while they were moving. I study people's profile a lot. And so it also helps me to see what I should be upskilling on, what and what I should, take note of, what and what I should make sure that I have, right on my terms before like get into that space. So yeah. Yeah, but this is your cue, guys. Also, I think another thing that's very important is also as much as you're consuming, also make sure that you're using the knowledge you're consuming, you're implementing, you're doing something. Because like we tend to consume a lot and then we just have that in our heads as
Based
well.
on
Like
knowledge.
it's like even though it's like writing, it doesn't necessarily even though you think that you don't want to, go to a tape, even though it's writing, just making sure that the knowledge
I
you're
want to cut
actually
this next title.
huh?
Yeah, just in line with what you said, I just remembered something just so that I don't miss it. I remember when so there's something called brand positioning. For those who were following me like far back, I used to work in marketing and I was talking about it. So it's also same with your personal brand. When you treat yourself as a brand, you position yourself. I remember when I was looking for a job as social media manager, what I began to do was I started posting about what I was learning on my social media journey, posted well enough and I was applying, and that was what spoke for me. And even like say the way you post title, I know I have taken a break off LinkedIn for a while, but if I want to know you and I've never met you, even if I'm a hiring manager, if I go through your LinkedIn, what do you talk about? It gives me an insight into what interests you and could even be a conversation starter for interviews.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean final words, final words. What drives you?
I don't want to be
All
poor.
the same money.
I don't want to be poor, bro.
Somebody was before it. It's like, well, guys, don't mind us. But yeah, what
What
drives
drives me? I really, 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 really want to live a life of impact.
you?
I want to be able to pour myself out. I want to be able to replicate myself out in others.
Mm,
And that's something I already started to do from school. Right. I was feeling very bad last time. Like, what do I even know? Say I want to be mentoring somebody. Say somebody that is finding routes that people want to follow. But I'm like, but I really love to help people navigate stuff.
mm,
I want to be able to impact, make impact. I want to be able to I want to be able to become a global voice within the energy industry. Right. And so every time I want to give up, I'm like, they don't know me yet.
yeah,
I've not done anything sustainable. I've not done anything notable in this space. They don't know me yet. And so that drives me. That drives me. I want to so someone I know said something. He said money, wealth comes on the table of exchange of value. right? Ibuka Oshika that we've spoken or mentioned a couple of times over this call, she has value to offer. She's not just fine. It's not just beauty. She has something to offer. Right. So when I walk into that room, what do I have to offer for them to want to pay for the value I bring? So yeah, I want to live a life of impact. I want to be a valuable asset to men, to human beings, and to organization. So that's what drives me. That's what drives me.
Thank
Also,
you. Thank you so
what
much.
drives
Thank
you?
Hmm. I mean, similar to you, I would say being able to be a thought leader within like my space, being able to, being able to build depth and breadth of knowledge that when I speak, when I, talk, when I converse with people, people can tell that, oh, this lady has, so much impact, this lady has so much value. And once I magnet to her, yeah, value together. But yeah, so but yeah, the main thing is that much like you, it's just majorly being able to like give impact, add value to people's life, and also know my onions very well. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
fun.
be technically sound.
Yeah, very important. Thank you, Agbenu. Oh my God, this has been such a wonderful, wonderful like my heart is full. I feel like I've been drinking so much. Like I can't explain it. I'm about to cry, but maybe let me not cry. Let me save my tears for after the session.
Okay. Oh yeah, thank you very much. I think it has really been
Thank you. We
a
don't have so much time, so if there's maybe just one question, just let's just make sure at least one person speaks, or like if there's just one person that just wants to ask a question that's you have this burning question and you're like, if Kaito Chukwudi does not address this, I don't think I'll be all right. Okay, we have it to know. So hi to know. Hi, can you speak? Please feel free.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I
yes,
can.
we
Hi.
can to know.
Okay, thank you so much for the section. I mean, it's quite amazing and it's very insightful. So my question goes to I don't want to pronounce your name wrongly. So
And
Agbenu, is
then
that Agbenu?
yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
yes,
So
very
yeah,
well.
I would like to ask questions around the project finances in an energy firm because for me, I'm actually been currently I'm in an investment bank, but I see myself doing a lot of energy deals, something around energy finance, right? So I want to ask that how does the structure of the people that decide on the viability of a project in an energy firm, how does it look like? Are they also under business development or the other division? Thank you.
Okay.
So in E&P companies, beyond in their project team, they have the project managers and they also have the cost estimators and project cost engineers. So the goal of those people is to, of course, ensure that the project is going to be profitable and to also look at how they can cut costs where they should cut costs. I know that I know a couple of guys who do that, but I don't exactly do that upfront. But if you're currently intern in an investment bank, I think you're on the right path, right? I would say just continue on that and maybe go on LinkedIn, look at people in E&P companies who do project cost engineering or cost estimators. And then I think they'll be in a better place to answer. I don't know if Kaito has anything to add.
I'll say to add to that, I mean, like speaking like from the development finance side, there are a lot of things that we do to make sure that before we move forward like a project, like a lot of things. So we, aside from the whole, climate, environmental, all of those stuff, we also look at like relationship with countries, like how sure are we that we are building, strategic relationships with some of these countries and all of that. We also look into cost structure because most times it's not just the AFDB that finances, there are other other bodies that finance too. So we look into that as well. We look into so many things, like so many things. We look into the what would I call it now? Like the the people that had, because now we find out that most infrastructure that being built like within Africa are also like related to like Chinese development and all of that. So we're also looking into that. Is that going to like affect us in any way? Is that going to put us, So there's just a lot. I mean, we can talk like more about it like later on, but yeah, just to give you an idea of what happens behind the scenes. Does that answer your question?
Yes, yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Okay, then.
Kaito, we have one question in the DMs. I don't know if we have time for me to speak to that real quick.
Yeah, I mean, go for it.
Okay, so says, oh, hello, good evening, many thanks for the session. What do you think we can do for an undergraduate who just started school and just wants to get the first class without any additional foresight? Honestly, I think when you start volunteering with that within organizations, like Kaito and I mentioned that, oh, the start for us, the ginger for us started from seeing what is possible by volunteering within the ESP. I also think for chemical engineering, there is the
I see.
IAICHE.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I think we want to also explore that. So for that person, I had a friend who said she was never going to practice petroleum engineering. I said, calm down. She wanted to go and do petroleum engineering. I said, get into the field first. Go on a job, like get into a company that allows you interact with these things. And if it's still something you don't like, then you can quit and say, okay, you're going to do finance. So until this person explores what is possible within their space, they shouldn't give up on it. Graduate a first class, good and fine, but it would help to have, where you want to go. I hope that answers this question.
Okay. Then we have Lovett. We may not be able to answer all these questions, but yeah, Lovett, if you can quickly just unmute and ask your question, that's fine.
So just love it and to page,
Yeah.
Good evening, ma.
Hi,
Please,
good
I'd like
evening.
Hi, good
to
evening. You sound so cute.
please, my question is, I'm a chemistry student, and since I got into university, I've been confused. Since day one, I've actually been confused because everyone told us that there's no field, like there's no job in chemistry. So I don't know, is there any way chemistry can link into petroleum or something like that? Because I'm in 400
Yes,
level, like I'm
yes,
standard
yes,
and I
yes,
really don't
yes,
want
yes, yes. There's petroleum chemistry. There's petroleum chemistry. And then there is room for anybody who studied a STEM course, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, to work in banks, to work in manufacturing companies, and to work in oil and gas. Right. So what I would say is, okay, look for relevant skills, maybe from now start learning data analytics or something, and also build your profile, right? You can apply to E&P companies, Exxon, Renaissance, whatever, when their openings are up. You can apply to chemical companies such as Nestle, Unilever, what else? All these other food companies, Reckitt, and drug manufacturing companies. There are graduate training programs also in banks, the big four, KPMG, PwC, EY, and what else? Deloitte, and I don't know, does that fall in? But I don't want you to close out your mind. There are opportunities. Don't let anybody deceive you. Graduate well, first class 2-1, and then apply to these things. I don't know if I
Yeah.
has anything to add.
I mean, like solid, there are plenty. I've seen like so many adverts on production chemists. I've seen industrial chemists. I've seen like different things. There are many this thing. And trust me, like you don't you there's so much that the future has. Don't limit yourself to only working within roles that are chemistry inclined. You can come out, you can work in consulting and be very active in
McKinsey
sectors
and
that
UG.
are science inclined. So see, forget what those people say. Do your best and come out well and be fine.
Finish school, graduate well and come out. There's job outside as long as you are ready for it.
True, true, true. Then to basically, yeah, I think that's all that's
Hi, Kaito. Hi, Agbenu. Good evening.
I
Ah.
Thank you so much for. I okay. So, my question is this. Okay, I didn't have this kind of opportunities where SP was allowed in my school because we're kind of the first people to actually do petroleum engineering, do anything engineering in my school. So we left the school without this mindset. I think it was 400 level. I got in contact. Me and Kaita have been friends for like a while, right? So I just saw SP pop up when I started on, like, what is this? This is the first time I'm hearing of this. And I came out from school and I'm trying to navigate because I came out of school not too long. I'm trying to navigate and all I'm confused on career choices, career path, mentors,
What
what
course
to
did you
do and how
study?
to go about. I study petroleum and gas engineering,
Where are you based?
Lagos.
First things first. Are you an SB member?
No,
So again, I don't think
I
I
don't
correct
know.
me if I'm wrong. You don't have to be an SB member to attend like the technical meetings and all that stuff that they do in SB Lagos, do you?
No, I don't think so. I mean, most times I don't think so. I think it's just like maybe core events, maybe that they may ask for
Okay, so
member ID and all that. But yeah, the regular
so I
events.
think we want to follow them on social media, right? And at least before you even commit with cash, maybe go for like a technical meeting. Do monthly physical technical meetings where you're able to meet other
Okay,
people, right, within this space. I think that would be like a starter for you. Join the conversation, meet people, get to know people. If you go, so I would say maybe go 3 times or go 2 times before you commit financially, right? And then save up to attend like one of the mind. Now this is like the hallmark event or NAPE, right? You plan to attend one of those events, and I get that. You see, whenever you wake up is your money. Some of us, did this things, that's okay. They also have call for volunteers when you now, so to volunteer now you have to be a member and a young professional on the young professional platform, right? But say for instance, get in, look at what they are doing, then you can now decide to probably start volunteering within teams. You now get exposed to like the oil and gas companies within Lagos in spaces you might never have had them, but there are a lot of them. And the way the oil and gas industry works is there are different things that people do. There's some people it's only chemicals they are doing. That's for love it. There's some people that's only chemicals they are working on. There's some people that they are only doing pipeline services. There's some people that's only process, engineering. So you won't know until you start to interact with the industry. So I would say get involved. Follow SP Lagos section on social media so that you'll be alert of their events. When you get in there, you can now build from there. You can make friends. I mean, Kaita and I met through SP, Ako, Dipo, all of us met through SP, and now we're a community that if I need anything, I can reach out to these people. So beyond the technical knowledge that will be shared, you'd also get to meet amazing people that will eventually become family. That's
Yeah.
my advice. And you can has anything to add.
Yeah,
thank
I
you
mean,
so
like
much. Thank you so
you
much.
said it, to be honest, it's just to get involved. Like I mentioned earlier, doing is also another way to, make sure that you're, actively in that space. And so getting involved is important. Hey Bill, I want to turn you down, but I don't know how, I mean, what do you feel? I'm like, okay,
Okay.
okay. Just in 2 seconds, just say a
So we're
question.
going to wrap up as soon as possible, like in the next 2, 3 minutes, but let's hear it.
All right.
Last question. Anybody raise up hand again, turn you down.
All right. Thank you.
Where
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and thank you very much for the session. So I just want to ask concerning when you meet, let's say, industry experts, when you meet people in the industry. For example, I went for a conference, so I did meet some industry experts. I collected their numbers. So in the aspect of reaching out to them, sometimes I feel like I shouldn't disturb them, that I should bring a value or something to them. So in such scenario, what do you think is the best approach? For example, you've collected their numbers, but to reach out to them, what do you think is the best approach?
Kaita, do you want to take this?
Okay, I think, to be honest, when I meet, like, industry professionals for the first time, aside from, like, introducing myself and having that light conversation, one thing I also do is try to, like, follow them up on LinkedIn. I don't go straight into their DMs. I just follow them up on LinkedIn. Anytime they post, I'm commenting, I'm liking, anytime they, it's when I see that they do something interesting, maybe like, have like webinar, sometimes I'm not reaching out. I'm like, oh, do you need support in any way? Do you need me to help in any way? That kind of thing. So that helps me a lot. Also, maybe if they are, selling books or just buy one, just also help you know, their work and all of that kind of thing. Also, some things I do as well is, when they share like maybe a what they call this kind of post, opinion posts, I try to like ask questions privately in their DMs, just ask, oh, like maybe I'm also within that field, and these are some things I've noticed. Have you, kind of encountered something like this? What do you think about that? Just to make sure that I'm rubbing minds with them. I'm not just coming from a point of, I'm not just leaving them hanging,
I
and I'm
want
also,
to.
I'm not just like extracting. I'm also making sure that they are seeing me as value as much as I'm seeing them as value, and that helps me a lot. I mean, I don't know. Is in any other thing you want to add? I mean,
These people are human beings. Let's remember that. I feel like when we go into conferences, which is a hack I eventually found out, I don't look at meeting everybody. So I probably try to find like one or two people that will have solid conversations. Of course, this might not be everybody's experience, right? I'm saying even if you collect a lot of numbers, out of those numbers, there should be one person who you actually connected with, and you know, maybe sending messages. You don't send a message all the time. Call me. If you collect my number and send me messages all the time, I'm not saying. But say they're celebrating something on their status or they have an achievement they posted on LinkedIn, of course, follow them on LinkedIn, speak to it. And sometimes actually just, oh, sir, I don't remember me, my name is this. I'm at current point in my career and I just wanted to hear your thoughts. Right. Depending on like the connection you have with this person. But when they know that okay, it sounds like oh I can guide this person, I think it helps. Right.
yeah,
Because these people are human beings. Like, oh, okay, not to ask for money. Valuable insight. Oh, I'm thinking of switching from EMP to service and servicing to EMP. I see that you did. I went through your LinkedIn profile. I see that you did something similar. Please, how did you go about it? You're not asking for money because they will just advise you. And then with that now, when you make that move, you're able to come back and say, oh, I did this that you advised. Also, for instance, Dr. Pringle, the section chair in Port Harcourt now, his interest is usually, in Excel, data analytics, coding, and all of that. For most of the people that come across him, they're able to follow up with conversations on progress they've made on that thing they know is interest. So I would
yeah.
say, working also on their interests. Say they are doing a research you've seen online, ask questions, or how can you contribute, or you do something, I don't know, just be able to, have your interests overlap and align, or look at their journeys and see how you can benefit. I think that would be all for the question and answer session.
Yes, yes. Oh my God, we did it. Thank you so much, Alvina. Thank you. I mean, like, I don't know what to say, but
Well, it
yeah,
was a really good.
thank you so much.
It was a really
Let me
good.
just share my screen just to like wrap up, and so that everybody can go and see with their houses. But yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, while they are doing that, I saw a couple of guys. I saw Medlin, Ako High, some of these people that have probably not spoken in a very long time. Who else? Who else? While she's trying to share her screen, let me just quickly say hi to everybody. I see Gabriel. I saw Ayo, Midi, Koshebin on the call, and then there's Rainheart. Thank you guys for joining. Oh, there's Tochi.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Tochi.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining. Oh my God, I feel so overjoyed. My heart is beating. I'm pumping. But yeah, thank you.
MJ is on this call. Hi, MJ.
Oh, amazing, amazing. Yeah, I'm not shy. But yeah, thank you guys for being in this call. Thank you so much. And yeah, just to wrap up, like what to watch out for. Trust me, there are lots. We're going to be doing like knowledge, entrepreneurship, and career sessions where would bring in people that are doing extremely well in this place, in this area, sorry. So we'll have people that are building core projects, like core technical projects. Like I have a friend that has already built, you know, a project already. And so, essentially just picking his mind on how did he move from analyzing the gap within this energy space and then implementing the project. Then we're also going to be reading and doing some courses together. We're also going to be listening to podcasts together. Don't worry, everything will be broken down in such a way that everybody can follow up so that you can, just have maybe a bit of it within the week, another bit during the week, so that it's easy for you to like follow through. We're also going to have like energy beyond border sessions. So looking beyond Africa or Nigeria, wherever you are, what does energy look like for the other person in another country? How do they, how are they navigating that space? What are those interesting things that they are doing over there? I know that energy is not a one size fits all for all countries. Different climates, different markets and all of that. And so it would be good to also know what is happening over there, what people are also getting involved with and all of that. And further down the line, workshops and fellowships and all of that. So you guys see, if you're not following us, if you're not involved, I don't know what else you're doing. But yeah. Then okay, yes, we have like a feedback form. I will also still drop this in the chat, or the team will drop it in the chat, or the groups to just tell us how you feel about the session. If you went away with something or nothing, you should not go, oh, you away with nothing when Agbenu really delivered this powerful. But yeah, in case you have something bothering you, or you want to tell us that we did absolutely brilliantly, be honest as possible. Please just we'll also drop the link, but if you can scan it here, no problem. And please follow us on all our social media handles: YouTube, Instagram, WhatsApp. Yeah, as we are on top of you, just make sure that your alerts, you're plugged into everything that's going to be coming up. Trust me, it's going to be like an interesting space. We're going to do a lot of fun energy things together, hard energy things together, but fun, by the way. The goal is that we are all learning, we are also implementing, and we are moving beyond what the usual consumption looks like for each and every one of us. So at this point, I think I will just say thank you. Thank you to everybody that joined, everybody that, listened to us, everybody that, came around. I see, guys, my heart can't even contain my joy. I don't know what to tell you people at this point. If you can carry me, you please feel free to carry me. But yeah, I mean, like, thank you for staying till the end as well. Thank you for plugging in. I just hope you got like value as much as I did, because I really, really did. Like, I really was just spitting fire, and I was like, God, I beg, like, my life, I need to go and do more with my life. Like, what have I been doing since? Just been playing, and allow me. This is my testimony. I've just been doing anyhow since. Now that I've collected some fire from Agbenu, it's time I use this fire to push up, and I hope that you're also using this fire as much as I am going to use it. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys for staying tuned. Remember to feel the feedback. Remember to stay connected. Are you seeing it? Are you? Exactly. But God, just stop. Let me not just we can see people are feeling it. I think it's only me. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys. Thank you. Like, I really, really appreciate you. And yeah, if anybody wants to say anything, like last comments, just want to say anything, please feel free to unmute and say something before we say our final byes. Okay, nobody wants to say anything. So yeah, thank you all. Thank you all. And thank you Agbenu as well. We'll see off the camera. But yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And have a good night, good day, good anyway you are, just good as well.
Bye. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Make sure all these comments you are doing, put it in the feedback form so that we'll be hyping ourselves as we are seeing. But yeah, no problem. We'll drop the feedback form as well. If you miss a part of the session, it should be streamed on YouTube as well. I would also attach the link to that in the group chat so you know that you're not missing anything. If you want to go and play more fire later on, you're free, no problem. But yeah, you can exit if you want. If you want to stay, no problem. That's also fine. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. 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 Thank you.